I didn't plan on speaking because I always speak too much and too long. So I was very fortunate, when I came today to see a lot of my seniors and good friends for many years and juniors and realize that Taekwondo is still alive. And so I've been fortunate that during my career I had a great opportunity to be part of the Taekwondo that was generational from the original people that brought it to this country. And I had an opportunity to compete at the highest levels, first in New York, in some of the great tournaments where we fought everyone, not just Taekwondo guys. And then he mentioned Grandmaster Kukkiwon Kim, competed in his events, and then went on to compete for the United States for a lot of years and fight some great fighters, train in some great places, and train in Korea every year at the best university under the best coaches. So I was fortunate to see Taekwondo the way it was imagined and grew into being, and in my humble opinion, the best time for Taekwondo was from the beginning till about, the two best teams I ever saw were the 88 and 92 Olympic teams from every country, not just one country. So they had amazing athletes that are still to this day legends, that did amazing things from every country, from Korea, Dominican Republic, China, Puerto Rico, from everywhere. It was not limited, Iran. So I won't speak too much about that because if you watch my Facebook posts, you can see how I feel about that part of it. But to speak specifically to what Grandmaster Chavez spoke about, I was fortunate to go to Korea and train and test for my 9th Dan. And I encourage everyone, regardless of your age and where you are currently, to reach that goal. And there's a reason. It's not the goal itself. Because the goal is just a representation of your effort, your commitment, and your time. It's, and as most of you know, I have the world's worst sidekick in the history of mankind. Terrible. To this day, it is my worst kick. I hate that kick, and for some reason they put it in the last form. Twice, and jumping. So it's, I asked them, I went to dinner with Grandmaster An, and then Jungkook Young was there, and then one of my coaches was there, who runs the KTA now, Kim Se-hyuk, and I said, why do you have a one-step flying sidekick in the 9th Dan form? If you've ever watched anyone who's 60 years old and plus trying to do a one-step flying sidekick, it's a dangerous thing. Because not only do you have to jump and fly, but you have to tuck your bottom leg, which means you have to land. So I practiced it a lot and did my best with it. And then when the answer was, well, the guy who made the forms was 35 when he made them. I said, so yeah, then you should give it to the 35-year-olds. But anyway, it was an amazing experience because I like to set goals, and then I like to move on to the next goal. So I was fortunate that after the Olympics, I retired from competition at the, and I wanted to fight one more time. I wanted to fight in Madison Square Garden. But my student fought, so I taught the next middleweight and the next middleweight after that, and they continued my legacy and fought a great fighter from Mexico, Victor Estrada. Amazing, amazing athlete. So the journey to get to 9th Dan, it forced me to practice forms and forced me to dedicate myself to a new goal. So I practiced every form for 1 week and reviewed all the forms. So I went through all 16 forms. And I still made a mistake, right, even with that. Because forms were not my specialty. In my school, we practiced them because Master Kukkiwon Kim, They were very important, so for 45 minutes I practiced. So my basic technique was okay. But again, not my focus. But we need more people, regardless of your ethnicity or your nationality, to reach ninth dan. Currently in the United States, I think the number is 5 men who are American citizens by nationality have reached it, and 2 women. That's not enough. I was speaking to one of my colleagues from Africa. No one in Africa of African descent has a ninth dan. It takes 40 years to reach ninth dan or so, if you follow all the rules. Unfortunately, so many people, they get to 4th or 5th and they stop. The ninth dan itself is not important. It's just a mark of your commitment to your craft and your art. But it does speak volumes to your commitment to your craft and to your art. There's a great philosopher who speaks about stages in life, Plato. And I was a philosophy, that was my first degree, and so it resonated with me. He speaks about stages in life in the Republic. And so at each stage, each one of us here, we're students, we're warriors, we're politicians, we are businessmen, and then we become keepers of the flame, or philosopher kings. So in this room today, there is nothing but philosopher kings. You are the future of the legacy of the gift that we've been given. It is time for you to lead and to keep the tradition of what you believe Taekwondo to be. So I would rather ask you a question than tell you a story. So what is Taekwondo? Anyone? Compassion? What else?
Love.
Love, what else? A way of life? Yeah. A long time ago, I met a man down from this area, and he said, everybody in this room believes that martial arts can do anything. When you hear people talk about what it does for you, what it can do for people, you believe it can do anything. You believe it can cure cancer. So if you truly believe that to be the case, that martial arts is transformative and can do anything, then you need to be a philosopher. You need to be a philosopher king. You need to be a philosopher queen. You need to think about what it is we do and what it is. The thing that makes us different as martial artists, especially Taekwondo people, is that we believe in the philosophy of it, not just the kicking and the punching. We believe that it changes the fundamental purpose of the person. And one of my frustrations with Taekwondo was, and I was on the original committee that changed the rules to change the scoring system, with Dr. Stephen Kapner, David Moon from Mexico, and I, and a handful of others. And what we tried to do was to make it so that we rewarded excellence. So if you wanted to see better Taekwondo, you scored higher points. Now the reason we started to have that conversation was we were having trouble with the referees. Yes. To be honest. So my solution was fix the referees. Train the referees, educate the referees, and if you find improper dealings, deal with the referees. That was the solution. Unfortunately, they thought the solution was electronic chest protectors. And as you can see, it's not the solution, which we knew back then, because it can't tell the difference between this and this. You can't tell the difference between monkey kick and there was a time where if you put your foot on the chest protector and you touch it with your hand, it would score a point because of the electronic connection. Yeah, wet water. So the electronic chest protector will never be the solution for Taekwondo. And if you want proof to that, just watch YouTube from 1986, the World Cup in Colorado Springs, to 2012. So one of my colleagues came up and spoke about being unable to watch the Olympics or the World Championships. I was with him. I turned it on because I love Taekwondo. I want to see great fighters. Every once in a while I think about coming back and competing again. And then I get close to the ring and I said, well, maybe not. These guys kick kind of hard. My wife and I both tried to watch it. Got up in the middle of the night to watch it. And I tried and I turned it off. Then I went again and tried again and I turned it off. And that is sad for me. The last Taekwondo competition that I went to watch was 2005, maybe, oh no, that was Madrid. I went to Copenhagen, the World Championships, and I was on the first board to do video review. Because we thought one of the solutions would be in video review, have an elite athlete and an elite referee at the review table. We overturned 70% of the calls that came to us on protest. So that scared the WT, so they never did that again. But we were correct. So the reason I say all of this is I still believe, like most of us here, that Taekwondo's competition is full contact. And trembling shock and the way you can reward it, there are solutions for it. So I haven't given up on that. I also haven't given up on traditional Taekwondo, which is why I tested for my 9th dan. So now the question becomes, what do I do now? So where do you best use your voice? Where do I best use my voice? How do we help fix and correct the situation so that we remember what it is that we do? Well, every day I still go to my dojang and I teach. And I survived COVID, my dojang. I was fortunate never to catch it, but my dojang survived it. And the reason was what we teach. Your students and your families know that what you care about is their development, their self-development. Not whether they compete, not whether they win an Olympic gold medal or they win a local championships, because that's not what we do. What we do every day is build better human beings. That's what we do. That's all we do. So if you want to know why we are different than other things, we are different because we focus on the intellectual, philosophical person rather than the physical person. Grandmaster Kim, I was at a tournament competing against one of my own teammates when I was a green belt. And he punched me in the face, which was illegal. I didn't say anything. I scored a point. Then he punched me in the face again. I didn't say anything. Then I scored another point. I scored the last point. This was during like a point Taekwondo tournament. He punched me in the face again. So I turned around. He's over there. And then I went like this. That's all I did. Master Kim came in, punched him in the chest, punched me in the chest, said disqualify them both. I'll see you in the school. I was a green belt. So I didn't go to the school for 6 months. Or maybe 3 months. Then I went to the school. He didn't talk to me for 1 year. And in the beginning of our class back then, Taekwondo Mudokwan classes, you lined up and did, you know, middle section punch. And he would walk through each person and correct them. Something about them. So he would correct him, and then he walked by me. I would come into school every day. I'd say, hello, sir, because his desk was in the beginning of the thing. He would ignore me. 1 year. Because I went like this. And violated what we did as an organization. So then he called me. I want to see you. So I came to the school. He said, sit down. His desk was there, I was sitting in a chair. He said, sit up straight. So I sat up straight. And for 45 minutes, he didn't say anything. So I just sat there. I kind of looked at him every once in a while. He didn't say anything. So then he said, why did you come to see me? I said, you called me, sir. He said, that's right. Then he didn't say anything again for 10 minutes. So then I started to confess everything that I'd ever thought that I had done wrong and done whatever. But that was Taekwondo back then. So the moral of the story, and what I tell people about that is, you learn through doing. You didn't tell people to respect you. You do, and they will respect you. You don't tell people to call you master, grandmaster, instructor. Just be you. If you are you, then you will be respected. If you continue on your path, then what you do will be respected. If you want Taekwondo to return to what it was, just do Taekwondo. My son plays high-level soccer right now. And when I choose his coaches, I don't say anything. I go watch a practice, I go watch the games, I watch how he talks to the athletes. If he teaches them like a Taekwondo person, then he's my son's coach. If they're high-fiving, they're cursing, their pants are down, then he's not my son's coach, no matter how good the team is. That's what we have to offer. We have to offer how we treat ourselves, how we allow people to treat us, but more importantly, the example we set. I have one last goal, and it's personal. So there are many things that I like about myself, and then I was talking to my good friend Dr. Kapner, actually last night. He's in Korea driving up he went on a small holiday there in Choseol. And the last personal journey I have, and Grandmaster Odin knows this because he knows me for many years, is anger and fire. So I take everything very personally, especially when I was a competitor. If I felt it was unjust, that's my fuel. It was me against the world. It was me against the referees. It was me against the people that were trying to stop me from making a U.S. team. So it's the last personal journey that I have to be part of something rather than to see myself as an individual. And I think that's the other thing that Taekwondo teaches us. So I implore you all to find journeys and goals. So I'm searching for mentors, people that can help me. I'm reading a new book now, and in the book, one of the analogies they use is a flower. It says a flower can't be a flower without everything around it that's not a flower. And so I thought about that for a minute. He said, a flower needs sun, it needs dirt, it needs water. If you take away everything that's not the flower, it dies. That's us. We're only Taekwondo instructors if we have students to teach. Without that, we're not Taekwondo instructors. We're only a Taekwondo community with each other. Me, by myself, you can't get anything done. So when you have these sorts of meetings, I like these. And I told Grandmaster Lee that does the WMTU, it was awesome for me to go to that. Because I saw people in the room that I hadn't seen for many years who were passionate still about the thing we did. How many of you joined martial arts because you saw a Bruce Lee movie? Or a Kung Fu movie? I saw Five Fingers of Death. Yeah, you guy ripped the guy's heart with his finger. Yeah, that was like, I came out, I was kicking and punching. Then I walked into a Taekwondo school, and my instructor looked at me, he said, you are too short, your hair is too long, you're not flexible, you'll never be any good. I'm like, thank you, sir. I need to sign up. I was 9 years old. He says, well, your mother has to sign you up. I said, she's downstairs. She can't come upstairs. He said, have her sign this. So I went downstairs. I was a paper boy. I took my $5 from my paper route, and I went to the stationery store, got a pen, and signed my name. I brought it up to him. He looked at it, obviously scribbled by a 9-year-old, with my $5 for first class. He let me take the first class. And he made me swing my leg on a bar. I couldn't look at the class, and he made me stand there and punch in the mirror. And then the class ends. An hour and a half later. He says, line up for fighting. So I go, great, I'm gonna see some fighting. So I'm standing on the side, he goes, you too. So that was my introduction to Taekwondo. And because I stayed, my life changed. So every day we change lives. Lives like mine, lives like yours. And you never know where that journey is gonna end. Had you told me when I was 9 years old that I'd be standing in front of you, a 9th degree, an Olympic gold medalist, a world champion, Pan Am gold medalist, I wouldn't have believed it. But every day, I believed I could. Grandmaster Odin is too kind. I fought his great fighters, and I had many of his great fighters on teams with me. Todd Tatamy, Doug Crowder, Kim Dodson. And he has single-handedly, outside of the organization, developed great fighters that came into the organization and did well. And each one of you can too. Fighting is not what matters in Taekwondo, and winning is not what matters. It's a minute of what we do, and then everything we do after that is what matters. So every day that we change somebody's life is the thing that matters, and certainly was the thing that matters to me. So I know we're talking about tradition, and I'll leave it with one last comment on tradition. The thing that I like about Taekwondo is the tradition. The reason I came to Taekwondo was I was a single family. My mother raised me. I needed someone to guide me. I needed someone to say yes. I needed somebody to say no. I needed someone to guide me, mentor me, and follow. I needed someone to teach me how to be a person, to be a good person. I needed somebody to keep me in check when I wasn't a good person. And I think those are the things that matter. So I hope each one of you that continue to keep this journey alive, think about that, and I know you do, that's why you're here. How do we change it? It doesn't matter whether we change Taekwondo fighting or not, right now. The WT is run by a ship of fools that don't understand Taekwondo. And I know this because I work for the International Olympic Committee and the OCA and the organizations inside of there. We tried to help them, we can't help them. But the Kukkiwon is not. The Kukkiwon is run by people that care about what we do. So remain committed to that part of it, and remain committed to helping people, because that's what we do best. Our national organization here is terrible. Now, none of you can say that. I can say it, and I say it every chance I get. And they'll be here tomorrow, and I'll say it to their face. They're an embarrassment. For the first time in as many years, the United States did not qualify a single man for an Olympic team. Not a single man qualified for the Olympics. The United States used to be number 1, 2, and 3 in the world for many years. Not that we should be anymore, but not to even qualify to enter is an embarrassment in a country of this size with this many resources. We have coaches that slap female athletes from Britain. I apologize, anybody here from England? Apologize. So, I would wish that I was on a team that someone would try to slap a female athlete. I would wish that I was on a team where a coach tried to slap me. Well, there was one. It's time for us to take back the reins of what we can do within the things that are in our control to help what we do be better. So that's what I will use my platform for, and I speak for you if I can. And the reason I speak for you is because people know I will. So if you have anything you want me to say, just send me a note and I'll say it. Most people won't say it, but I'll say it. And I think if enough of us speak up, I think then that things will change. But thank you for listening to me and listening to me babble. I was trying not to. Appreciate you all.